We're back, and hi, it's me, Donna, with Donna's Delightful Dishes. And I was wondering, does anybody know of a good camera person? Because mine is driving me nuts. She's crazy. There you go again. All right, so today we're gonna make white bread. I wanted to make my mom's white bread recipe, and I had it written down on a piece of paper, and now I can't find it anywhere, so I called Aunt Susan. Aunt Susan, help! I cannot find Mama's white bread recipe. And then she sent me a picture of a book and said when she talked to her mother, my grandmother, about making bread, her mother pointed her to this book, Make This Recipe. So she sent me a picture of it, and I wrote it down on a little index card because the print was very small and I had to squint to read it. So anyways, it's two sides, and this is the white bread recipe that my grandmother gave to my aunt to make. This is the ingredients. All right, so this is what we have for the ingredients. It says 1 cake of yeast. Well, I had no idea what a cake of yeast was. It must be some old-fashioned thing, but I looked it up and it's a package of yeast. Well, this is what I have. Quick Rise yeast, and the date of expiration says 2018, but we're gonna give it a go. Aunt Susan told me to proof it. Not like alcohol proof, but like yeast proof. I had to look that up too. And she told me put it in something and make sure it bubbles. Put it some warm water with some sugar. Feed it. And then see if it bubbles. Well, it bubbled a little bit. It wasn't huge, crazy, but we're gonna give it a go. So I'm gonna use some yeast. Then I need some lukewarm water. And the lukewarm water is what I'm going to put the yeast and the sugar in so that it bubbles up and gets it going. I need sugar. I'm gonna use sugar twice. A teaspoon of it for the yeast and then 2 teaspoons in the mix. I need some salt. It says shortening, but I really don't want to use shortening in my bread, so I'm going to use the butter. I'm just going to use the shortening to put inside the pan when I put the dough in. Then I need 2 cups of milk, and again, it says scalded milk. And scalded milk, I'd heard of that term before, but I didn't really know what was the point, so I looked that up, and it's to kill the bacteria in milk. Well, this milk is pasteurized, so it doesn't really need to be scalded. So I just warmed it up a little bit to help melt the butter. So I have 2 cups and then 6 cups of sifted flour. My mother used to have this sifter that had a handle that turned. Well, I don't have one of those. And most flour doesn't really need to be sifted anymore, but here it is, me sifting the flour. And there it is, 6 cups of all-purpose flour. We got some other flour, King Arthur flour, and I just started reading out the stuff here. And I'm going to use this next time to see what the difference is, but this flour has 11% yeast. This one here only has 2 or 3%. So I'm going to give that a go the next time and see what happens with the yeast and see what the difference is with the flour. All right. You can probably tell that our backsplash is still not done, but we just thought we'd share what the backsplash is going to look like. This is going to be our backsplash whenever we have the opportunity to. Azul, she wanted to say something about the backsplash too. But anyways, this is the backsplash, and this is what our countertops are going to look like here. Eventually, maybe we'll shoot a video with this actually is on the backsplash and this is actually on the counter. I can't wait for that to happen. All right, so we are going to get started with the recipe. The first thing it is add yeast to the water. Now the water has to be lukewarm. So the water is warmed up. Then you're going to put in the yeast, and it says here to put in a cake of yeast. Well, again, I looked it up, and we're gonna put in a teaspoon of yeast, which is about a packet of yeast. So I'm gonna sprinkle this into a 1/4 cup of lukewarm water. And then you have to feed the yeast some sugar. So I'm also going to put in, my camera person got distracted because the dog rang the bell at the back door, meaning she wants to get out. And so just hold on for a second. Now I'm gonna feed it with some sugar. And then we're gonna wait about 5 minutes for the yeast to dissolve into the water. I'm gonna give it a little swirl. I'm not sure, it doesn't say that, but I'm gonna give it a little swirl in the warm water, and we're gonna let it start to work its magic in the yeast. It's gonna gobble up the sugar, and it's going to start to bubble. Go take care of the dog now. You can see the bubbles down there in the yeast. That means the bubbles are working and the yeast is going to make the bread rise. So not only is the yeast bubbling, proofing that it is ready to work, it also stinks a little bit. Just kind of, to be honest, like beer. A little bit like beer. Like, have you ever been to like a beer plant? It stinks like crazy. Anyways. All right, so now we're gonna get going. So now I have to add the salt, shortening, in this case butter, sugar to the milk, and it says to cool, but that's if you scalded it, and we didn't scald it because this has already got the stuff killed. So there goes the milk, 2 cups. Milk, here, bless you. Here goes the salt, and the rest of the sugar, which is 2 tablespoons. And here is the butter in place of the shortening, in this case. And that is what we're supposed to do, and then to cool. Then it says add yeast and 3 cups of flour. So here is our bubbly good yeast. Yum. And now I have to add 3 cups of flour. So normally I use a knife, but I've got this flat edge to level this out. 1 cup. Two cups. And 3 cups. I've never done it with my KitchenAid before, but I've got this dough hook on here, so I thought I'd give it a go, So here I go. I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna mix it for a little while, and then I'm gonna stop and scrape the edges using the ever popular Jipper. Get it away from the edges, and then we're going to turn it on again. We'll do this a couple of more times. What we're trying to do is just incorporate all the ingredients together, and then we're going to add more flour until we get a soft dough. All right, now we're going to add enough flour to make a soft dough, is what it says, soft dough. Not a hard dough, soft. So I'm going to put some flour in. Whoop-a-doop. Mixing it up. You can see it's starting to come together into an actual dough here. Whatever flour we have left over, we'll use to when we need the dough. So you'll use it all, even though it won't all go into here. You can see it's starting to come together into more of a dough instead of a batter. Looking really nice. So I'm just going to add a little bit of flour at a time here. I went the wrong way. We're almost there. I'm actually going to take this off of there and do it by hand the rest of the way. That's making me a little bit nervous. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. There. And now we're looking like we have a soft dough. I'm gonna get all that off of my spatula here. Back down in. So there we go, a soft dough. Can you see it? How pretty. So now I'm going to put some flour on my countertop because I have to knead the dough. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this out. My mother used to have this really super cool wood breadboard that she had out. I'm not sure, I think it might have been her grandmother's or somebody else's in the family, but she had it, I really liked it. So I'm gonna turn out the soft dough onto the floured surface. And now I'm gonna knead it. And the directions actually say, knead until soft and elastic. All right, so I'm going to knead until soft and elastic. So I just take the bread and stretch it out and fold it over itself, and then with the heel of my hands, push into it. And then I just turn it and I do it again. I just keep going around and around, making sure the surface is floured so that it doesn't stick messy all to it. So I just keep going around and around. So I'm gonna keep kneading it till it's soft and elastic. Soft and elastic. Soft and elastic. Knead, knead, knead the dough gently down the stream. It's very therapeutic. You actually want to be getting more of the flour in as well during this stage. All right, that seems pretty soft and elastic to me. Ooh. A little bit more flour in there. Get that last bit in. All right, so now I'm going to, looks good there. I'm gonna shape it into a ball and I'm gonna drop it into a greased pan. So I've greased this pan here with Crisco shortening, and I'm gonna shape this into a ball, and then I'm gonna plop it in there, and then I kind of swirl it around so that the bottom side gets the shortening on it. Then I'm gonna turn it over, and then I'm going to cover it with a towel and put it in a place where it's not gonna get cool, where there's no drafts. A very nice, inviting place for the yeast to work its magic and lift the dough up and rise. It's gonna double in size, and when it's doubled in size, then it's gonna be ready to move on to the next step. Step 2. All right, well, it's about, I don't know that it's doubled in size, but it's been a couple hours and it has gotten bigger, so the next step is to punch it down. So I'm gonna punch it down guess. That's punched it down. I don't really remember. I think that's what my mom did. We flip it over, punched it down. Boom, boom. There. Now we gotta wait till it rises and doubles again. That's it. Well, my camera person's taken a nap and it has doubled in size again after I punched it down. Now I'm gonna cut it in half and let it rest for 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this in half. I guess I'll use a knife. I don't have a pastry cutter, so I'm just gonna cut this in half here. Looks like a bud. And now I'm gonna let it rest for 10 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
For how long?
10 minutes, please.
10 minutes.
Starting now. All right, I'll see you in 10. And we're back. It's been 10 minutes. Well, it's actually been longer than 10 minutes because I called my niece Jess and I wanted to ask her a couple of questions because she has been making some amazing sourdough bread. So I thought I would check on the process for her, but she makes sourdough, so it's a little bit different. So we've let this rest for a while, probably 30 minutes or so. It doesn't matter. So the next thing says, form into a loaf and put into the loaf pan. Oops, I missed. Good shot, Donna. All right, so there's one. And I have this glass pan. Maybe I ought to make it look a little prettier. Come on, get in the corner. Oh, there you go. And okay, get over there. There's one. And then we're gonna get the other one. I'm gonna kind of turn this one over a little bit on the bottom. I'll probably do this one better. And then there it is. Now in the recipe, it says shape into loaf pans and place in greased loaf pans. And then it says grease the top and cover with cloth and let rise into double. So, and again, instead of greasing the top, I'm gonna put some butter on the top and then I'm gonna cover it and we're gonna wait until it rises again. For crying out loud, this is a lot of doubling. Oh, for crying out loud. And here we are again. And it has finally doubled for the last time. Ta-da! If only you knew what had been going on around here in the meantime. I ain't even gonna say. But here are our beautiful loaves, very nicely doubled. We are gonna put them in the oven for 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Then we're gonna turn the temperature down to 375 and put them back in for a while longer. 35 to 40 minutes longer. Okay, so the temperature has been preheated to 400 degrees. And we are going to pop the loaves into the oven. I'm gonna put them on the middle rack and I'm gonna make sure that there's a little bit of space so that the heat can circulate all around. And close it up. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Starting now.
We'll be back. Oh my goodness, the steps involved in this. All right, we have cooked it for 10 minutes at 400 degrees. Now we have to bring it down and bake it now for 375 for 35 to 40 minutes. I'm gonna put it on for 35. Boop, 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 boop. Start. And then I'm gonna have an extra reminder because I need one sometimes. Alexa, set a timer for 35 minutes. Thank you. And we wait again.
Starting now.
Ooh. If only you had smell-o-vision. There's 18 minutes left. Yummy, yummy. Ah, it's done. The time is done. The time has come. Really, it's been all day. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait. Look at that. That is loaf of bread number 1. And here comes loaf of bread number 2. Oh my goodness. They look delicious.
Pretty identical.
This is the one that it was a little bit smoother when I put it in the pan, and this one was a little bit lumpy. But they still look beautiful. All right, we're gonna let them cool for a little bit, and then we're gonna cut it, and we'll be back and have some buttered bread. Oh my! If only you knew what was going on. The dog just got a hold of a chicken bone. All right, I'm gonna pop these loaves out of the pan. And they look delicious. Oh. I can't wait to cut into them. Right, I'm ready to cut it, but I just want to highlight this is a bread board. It's actually a pizza board for taking pizzas out of the oven, made by my brother of Twin Spruce Woodcraft. He did a great job. Did you say something? Robert LaCourse. All right, so we are going to go ahead. Let's cut this one open. All right. We got a fancy bread knife here called the original Fiddlebow knife, and it cuts bread at the exact same thickness, but I'm not very good at cutting it anyway. So we're going to go ahead and cut into the bread. Monica likes the heel.
Call it the butt.
Well, it's good that it's called the butt because it looked like a butt after I divided it. Oh, left. No, that's okay. All right, so now we're gonna butter it up and we are going to try this very steamy hot bread. You want the butt?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Here's the butt. What do you think, Monica? All right, homemade bread. Aunt Susan, thanks for the recipe. Oh, and a shout out to Jess for giving me a little bit of pointers. Appreciate it, Jess. I'm gonna finish this one up as a selfie. That cameraman, woman. I'm just gonna go with it. This bread is as yummy as I remember. Y'all, thanks for tuning in, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.